I'm always so impressed about Dubai's infrastructure. It changes and it develops so fast. So sometimes you go away for a week or two's holiday and you come back and suddenly you say, oh, there's a new highway or a new motorway. Unlike in the UK, where they might spend 10 or 15 years talking about a new road or some new infrastructure or a new train or whatever it might be. Here they just get on with it, and they're very proactive, which I think which is wonderful. That they really do. They plan the city out in many cases years and decades in advance, and you can see that by the fact that they leave space for roads to get bigger, which is very forward thinking. I think and also it makes a huge difference when you compare to other cities. Let's say somewhere like London, which is 1,000 years old. There's a lot of cases where there's not an opportunity to make a motorway bigger or to improve the infrastructure significantly, and it makes it a lot more difficult when there's already buildings in the way. The advantage you've got here is there's a decent amount of space available, and with some forward thinking, some forward planning, it gives the opportunity for that infrastructure to develop a lot faster than it might do in Europe or many other cities in the world. Yeah, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think the stat was that 20 years ago there were 17 international schools, and now there are, I think, 220. So that increase is just absolutely huge. In terms of hospitals, certainly the healthcare here in the last decade has improved no end. You've got some of the best international hospitals from around the world. And they're built in these beautiful buildings that quite often get referred to as as a hotel almost, rather than a hospital. The facilities are that good, and more recently I think they've been attracting some of the world's best talent as well, because Dubai, for those professionals, Dubai has also become an amazingly exciting place to live, which is safe and has got good healthcare and good schooling and everything. So these level of professionals coming here to the region, you just wouldn't have seen 10 or 15 years ago, which I think also is really helping Dubai establish itself as a real global player, and in terms from a city perspective. Traffic is always a buzzword, isn't it? There is a lot of traffic here, with 3.6 million people, and obviously and ever growing. Almost everyone has a car, so of course there is traffic. However, I think if you compare and you remind yourself to some major cities, that certainly I've been to some which might take you 2 or 3 hours to go across, then I think actually when you put it into perspective, I don't think Dubai is too bad. It's quite rare that it would take you more than 20 or 30 minutes to go somewhere here, which I think could be a lot worse than other places. So yeah, there is traffic, there are a huge number of cars on the roads. Obviously, fuel's reasonably priced. There are lots of nice cars around for people to drive, so it's always an attractive option. But yeah, I think the way they keep up with infrastructure is also pretty refreshing. So whenever there is a problem, you can see there's already plans in place. Of course, it does take time. It isn't built overnight, although the rate it is built is amazingly fast. Okay, so public transport in Dubai when I first came here was pretty much non-existent. I think you had the odd bus, maybe the odd route, bus route, but it was quite rare. Now you've got the metro, which runs all the way down Sheikh Zayed Road from one end of the city to the other. They're always looking at new routes on that. I think recently there was talk of doing a new metro route up on Sakim Road, which to service all those villa communities, for example. So there's lots of different routes being looked at for the metro, and certainly buses are a lot more plentiful, and lots of different, everything from shopping malls to provide all their own bus services as well. I mean, Dubai International Airport, the first airport we'll talk about, and then the second one to come along in a second, it is a huge tourism hub. They're bringing through, I forget exactly the numbers, but the record numbers since COVID. I think even they've just exceeded the previous, pre-COVID numbers, as they like to call it. So the reality is that Dubai has got Emirates has got its own Terminal 3, which is an amazing airport. You come there and you could be anywhere in the world. It's so modern. It's probably one of the best airports I've certainly ever been to. And then when you come back and land in Dubai, you really feel like you're home. On top of that, Dubai World Central is a new airport. So this is literally, Dubai's rulers planning the next full 40 or 50 or 100 years time. So it's, for most people, they wouldn't have been through it. Most passenger planes come into Terminal 1 or Terminal 3 in Dubai International. But Dubai World Central is literally at the other end of the city, and it's set up to become probably the biggest airport in the world, certainly in terms of traffic numbers. And between these two hubs at one end of each at one end of the city, I think Dubai is very, very well placed to continue to be the sort of tourism hub of the Middle East and possibly the world as well.